Welcome everybody to the W Season Show, YouTube exclusive presented by Stacey on Sports. I am your host, Stacey Carter II. Joining me for the premiere episode, none other than Mel Ferris from the Girl Chat Sports podcast show. Mel, how you doing?
Hey, what's good? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming. Now, this show, everybody, is dedicated to the WNBA. The WNBA is growing rapidly, and I'm striking while the iron's hot. I mean, why not talk about it? And the first episode covers the tremendous WNBA draft that we just saw recently. Full of stars, full of potential. The 2024 season, WNBA season, is going to be great. So we're going to talk about the top picks, basically. Then there's a rapid fire question segment. And then at the end, we got to talk about Aces. You know, the team that you look at after, and that's my favorite WNBA team.
Okay.
Going for that three-peat.
All right. I wasn't sure if any of the new LA acquisitions would have had you stick around home or not.
No. I gotta stay firm with the champs. The champs. All right. Let's go ahead and start with, obviously, we got to start with the first overall pick, Caitlin Clark, who went to the Indiana Fever. We all know about her tremendous career at Iowa, one of the all-time greats. People looking for her to usher in a new era in the WNBA and make an impact right away. So let's just talk about that impact as a rookie for the Indiana Fever, who, you know, been on the low end of things for a good number of years recently. So go ahead and start us off about Caitlin Clark to the Fever. What will her impact be as a rookie on this team?
I think it's going to be pretty immediate. I mean, I don't think the Indiana Fever have chosen her as first of all, not many first round number one draft picks don't start or aren't playing majority of the time for their first year in the league because they're dynamic players. So you're going to see her a lot. Now there's a lot of people on the Fever. So just, you know, first of all, we got Aaliyah Boston that came in last year. She helped get the team from 5 wins in 2022 to 13 wins. So they went up 8 wins. That's good. Now, if Caitlin can at least boost them another 8 to 10, you know, we can't complain there much, right? But you got to think about Katie Lou Samuelson, who used to play for the Sparks. She took a year off, but she's with the Fever, so she'll be coming back to play. You still got Alyssa Smith, Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler. I saw her cheering for at the Indiana Fevers. Like, I think they had like a draft party that they were hosting. But Erica's going to be her competition when it comes to who's playing that point guard. So we'll see kind of how that goes. I think Caitlin's going to make an enormous impact. She's already made an enormous impact along with others in this draft class. But it's going to be interesting to see how that, you know, is written in the WNBA. I don't think it'll be a problem for her so much in playing against these ladies, but she's going to be having to get her rookie year under her belt. She's going to have a lot of girls out gunning for her this year to let her know, welcome to the league. So
right. Well, she already is making a tremendous impact. Her jersey has sold out on Fanatics already. She's going to bring a lot of fanfare to the Indiana Fever. And then, of course, coupling with Aaliyah Boston, who I'm a fan of her game. I really like her game. That's a big in the WNBA. I think people expect her to just go into the WNBA with ease. At least the casual fans, the casual watchers. Sure. But I think she will have those growing pains as a rookie. She can be a volume shooter at times. She'll, you know, shoot your way back in the game, or she can shoot herself out the game. So she definitely gonna have to work on that, work on efficiency, work on her strength still, and also you know, keep her assist numbers, because I think she's a point guard, right? Like, consider a point guard in general.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's going to have to pass the ball, going to have to feed Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell, who's I look at as kind of an underrated player in the WNBA.
Absolutely.
Average 18 to 20 points at any time. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of work for her, especially she's going to be like, for now, I'd say like second, third option on that team. So it's going to take her a minute, but I think it'll be fine. with her and Aaliyah Boston on this team, of course, Mitchell, like you said, they went from single digits to double digits. It's still not enough.
Right.
Will they be able to make the playoffs eventually, having these back-to-back first overall picks?
Well, I think first of all, you saw her with Iowa. They didn't really have a bench there. Like she didn't get any rest time. She played the best of her ability. She helped. I mean, they had some great other shooters there, but there wasn't really like a full-on team with bench. You're going to think about the Fever now. You're going to have options at guard, so she won't have to play all the minutes. If she's having a bad night, she won't have to be playing, a full-time game. But when you think about what she'll be bringing the Iowa, all that Iowa fan base that was selling out, that was standing outside of lines, outside of gymnasiums and the arenas for 2, 4, 6 hours before games, she's got a close knit fan base that's going to be there. As far as the playoffs, you say, the East, I mean, you still got to deal with the Liberty. You still got to deal with the Sky. We'll talk about them later, but having Angel and Camilla over with the Sky, you've got the Sun still, Mystics, got Aaliyah Edwards. Everybody kind of picked up somebody great this draft, I think. But I think it's possible. I mean, there's the 4 of the 6 spots in the East will go. It's still top 8 teams in the league. There's only 12 teams, so only 2 really stay out of it. So it's really going to be up to them. I don't see how they couldn't not be part of the playoffs. But again, there's been so much movement this year in the league. I just need to be able to see how all these different factors are going to be playing out for each individual team and what we see and how it looks like.
For this year, I'm going to definitively say no, they're not going to make the playoffs. I know everybody's excited. I know everybody's excited, but keep in mind, at the core, at the nucleus, it's still a pretty young team. They still going to have to figure it out. Caitlin Clark's I don't think she's going to come in right away and be dominant like she was in Iowa. And then you call Leah Boston is still finding her legs in the league too. She's, going to go up against tough matchups every now and again. So I don't see playoffs immediately, maybe like in a few years when everybody gels together and that talent, gels together strongly. I can see it, but I just don't think so right now. Like you said, it's just too much competition, especially at the top. I still think the WNBA for right now is still top heavy, but in a few years, like you said, it's talent everywhere on amongst the 12 teams. I think we're going to see a lot more parity, but for right now,
but the ability for them to get to the playoffs is not going to be tough. Like you've got top 4 teams go. The Liberty are going to go. We still got to see the Sky, what they're going to be able to do. We would assume they would make it in the top 4, but you still got the Dream, Mystics. How's Ella De La Don going to be? Is she going to be injured? Is she playing? We don't. There's certain things that we still know for the East as far as the Eastern Conference. I just think we don't know exactly. I feel like the ceiling is there for them. They can reach it. But yeah, I don't, it depends on how much of a brick in the face it's going to be for her being in the league. But I feel like, with her talent as far as passing and the way she sees the floor to get it to Aaliyah, I don't see how that could be it. As long as those two are, as long as the team's there and is doing well, they've got options. I'm not going to hold them out and say they can't make the playoffs.
Oh, okay. A little bit more positive on your end. Okay, I got you. Real quick. I don't know if you saw Diana Taurasi's comments towards Caitlin Clark, where she basically said she's going to get her welcome to the league moment once she's on the floor. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with Diana Taurasi?
Oh, Diana's going to be the ones enforcing it. Diana is the one. Didn't you see what Kelsey Plum said? How Diana got her first rookie when she started the league, gave her an elbow to the gut and just left her there. Like Diana, we all know, we all love Diana, but she's dirty and she's a vet. She's been here for 20 years. This is now she was Sue retired. This is now she's the lady that runs the show here. As far as she might not be the number one seller on things, but her name has been here the longest and she puts respect on her name, whether you want to give it or not. So she's going to be the enforcer of that one. And I think there's other guards out there. There might even be other guards in her team that want to show, hey, you're playing against grown women now. It's not just the 18, 19-year-olds. You're playing against women that have kids, that have families, that are playing out here, we don't live off of NI. Some of those ladies won't have NI deals like Caitlin does. So their money is coming from just these checks, not so much everything else they got going for
them. Right. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be great to see. Once I don't know when they're going to match up. When's the first game between those two teams? But I'll be watching for their elbow.
Yeah, and I know they've already promoted it. They've got the Mercury promoted as the GOAT versus the Rookie. I want to say it's like June. It's like the very end of June 29th, June 30th.
Okay, I got to lock in to that one. Get my
That's the one that's in Phoenix for sure. I know that much.
Oh wow!
I'm thinking about I have to venture out there just for that game because it's going to be wild. Like that's going to be, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I was just having those same thoughts. Like I might have to slide down to Phoenix and go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a guard like that on every team. I'm sure, like Chelsea Gray's going to give her a little bit of something. Kelsey Plum could too. I mean, everybody's friendly off court, but like most players and athletes know is that once you're on court, it don't matter if you're friend or foe. Like it's you're going head to head, and that's it. And they're going to want to make a statement that this is what. And with all the viewers that the FIFA are going to have is they got 36 games, home games of their schedule are going to be nationally televised. Like every other team out there wants to show while all these viewers are watching, because of course everybody's going to still watch Caitlin and watch what if FIFA are doing, is that there's other teams out here that are banging and they're going to be competing really tough.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're going to keep our eyes on Caitlin Clark. We're going to keep our eyes on the Indiana Fever in general. But let's move on to the Chicago Sky. You already previewed it. Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso are drafted third. The Chicago Sky, obviously, they won a championship a few years ago, but those players are gone. Candace Parker, kind of surprisingly to me, Kalia Copper is now with the Mercury. I thought that was crazy. That was a crazy move. But with these two once rivals as teammates now, what do you see as far as the future of the Chicago Sky and for Angel and Camila?
I mean, that really just increased the Sky's fan base outside of Chicago. I mean, when you think about it, the WNBA, you might have a favorite player or so, kind of like within the league, I guess, the NBA, but a lot of those diehard fans are within the state or the city of where that team is at. So when you think about the Sky, like you didn't find a lot of Sky fans just out in LA or out here in Vegas, but you're going to see a lot more Sky fans. They're coming from South Carolina. They're coming from Gamecock Nation. They're the ones that are coming from LSU and Louisiana. Like you can probably have some family now that might be coming into Sky fan. I don't know. Like you don't know. It's out there. It's crazy. I think it's great for Chicago. I think, as two young women that battle, I think that's amazing because they're going to have to play together. And I don't think it's going to be tough because both of them want this opportunity. Both of them want to be able to be at the top platform here in the W and be able to make an impact. And I think, me personally, I think Cardoso, there are not, I think there's maybe, I wouldn't even say 6 ladies that are over 6'6". She's 6'7". Like if you think about an impact of a player that is that size, that can rebound, that can shoot, that can post, she shot 3, saw her shoot a couple of threes. She had a mid game. Like it could be that she's the next dominant center, an official, like an actual center in the league. We see a lot of 4s and forwards that play the 5. Asia Wilson played it for majority of the second half of our season when Candace went down. So, but you're not seeing a legitimate big woman, big in that spot sometimes for every team. So it'll be interesting. I'm intrigued by it. I'm very much a fan. So
yeah. First of all, I want to say I'm a big fan of Angel Reese. I'm still trying to get to know Camila. She don't have the name weight as Angel Reese, but she's one hell of a player. I think this was great for the Chicago Sky. And I got them going to the playoffs next year. I think they're going to be too dominant. They're going to be a dominant duo in the WNBA for years to come. And what I really love about both of them, especially Angel Reese, is that they're hungry. They real hungry. Like, I don't know if you've seen the videos. Angel Reese is practicing her threes Like she's trying to increase her
She's
rank.
posting those because she needed to make sure people knew she could shoot from three because we never saw it in games. That's what she's posting threes for.
Yeah, but I mean, it also then again, when she gets to the lead, they're gonna force her out too. They're not gonna let her get
Absolutely.
down, get those double doubles because both of them.
She got to find a mid-range game. That's what. Listen, I love Angel Reese, but I have more skepticism about how her game translates to the league versus like Caitlin's or even Cordosa. I think or Cameron. Like I feel like she really needs to make a statement and get out there and really put in the work. I mean, she's got to be able. Everybody's 6 to 6'3" in the league right now, so her height isn't much of a boost for her, and it's so much more on her game, and of course her rebound. She's a phenomenal rebounder and be able to find to get that in the box like that. But I'm excited. Plus, they team up with Diamond DeShields. Like I love Diamond DeShields and Isabella Harrison. Like that's going to be a good little crew for them. Again, it's just kind of see how those positions, melt together and how that team goes on. But to be coached by Teresa Witherspoon, like that's like another Becky Hammon in the league. Like you can't deny the ability of Teresa Witherspoon, just her accolades as a player, but also a coach, assistant coaching for the Pelicans, similar to Becky with the Spurs. Like having that kind of coach for them in Chicago is going to be great for those ladies.
Yeah, definitely. And that was the reason why I said I think they're going to go to the playoffs, not just those two rookies, but the players that they got now, the veterans, like you said, Diamond DeShields. I was looking at Chindy Carter on this team and Marina Mabry. I'm looking at the roster right now on this team who are, sneakily good players. And like you said, with their coach Witherspoon right there, right now, it all spells playoffs for me. And I think this is a fantastic start for them. I really believe in this team. I really believe in Angel Reese. To a certain extent, she reminds me of how Asia Wilson entered the league. To a certain extent. Now, I don't think she as talented as Asia Wilson, but that was kind of the knock on her too a little bit when she was coming in. Like she didn't have a mid-range, she didn't have a long shot, but she continued to work hard on that and look.
Absolutely. I'm not knocking Angel at all. I love her. I love that she's getting money. Like I applaud all these women that are able to out there to get their money, get their NIL deals. I support her and I support all the women. If I had, as I'm looking at the league, like that's the only person that's the one of the top 5 that I'm like, well, let me see how her game translates. That's the one that I want to see more of, see what she provides outside of, what we saw at LSU. Because at LSU, she had basically one job, board and get into the low post. Like that was it.
And that's a direct line to Angel Reese, who of course is the one of the most marketable names in the WNBA already. And also said that she was going to lead the new era of the WNBA just because she's everywhere and she has those deals and everything. So as far as her market, her value to Chicago, what do you think that all spells? Because also attached to her name is controversy have surrounded her a little bit. Now, I don't want to hold her to that because she's a young woman. She just trying to figure things out. But how you think that's going to go in Chicago?
I think it's up to her. I feel like, I think Chicago fan base is going to welcome her. I feel like the team will most likely welcome her, but I think she needs to start prepping for being around grown women. It's one thing when you're dominating and you're able to carry yourself in that cocky mannerism. But if we saw how when she got down during these March Madness, when she got down and wasn't doing well, she wasn't picking up her team saying, we still got it. We got it. She had her head down. She wasn't trying to be involved. She was getting upset. So it's about how she's able to handle her mental when she gets linked, because she's going to have days where she's not going to be able to score too well. People are going to be pushing and shoving her. She's going to be a target just like Caitlin is, as far as welcome to the league rookie. And she's got to be able to handle that. So we'll see how she's able to handle that. And hopefully, all these young women have a great support system and role models that help get them into the league. You know what I mean? Help them, guide them into the ups and downs they may face throughout their next rookie season.
Yeah, that was my thing for me for her to hit the next level is become a little bit more mature. Now, I know I love her fiery attitude on the court. I love how she get after it. But like you said, when those down moments have, when, Oh, you got a
Sorry.
special guest back there.
Nah,
Well,
yeah. Tilly, she likes to make an appearance when she's catching the
all right,
neighbors.
shout out, shout out, shout out. And she want to talk about Angel Reese too.
Yeah, she's a dog too. So
Yeah, she's a dog. All right, all right. Yeah. So like you said, like when she gets down and when she get frustrated, can she keep herself mentally in the game and be that leader eventually for this team? Because she is ushering a new era in WNBA and Chicago. For the next 5 years, her first 5 years is going to be very telling. So just got to mature a little bit more. But I still love her. I'm gonna get after that attitude. I'm gonna get in your face. I don't want her to lose that either.
no. Well, here's the deal: is that we saw. I mean, Asia does everything. I mean, Asia's like that right now in the league. She's talking smack. She's being eccentric. She's being, she's full of. This is her job. This is what she does for a job. This is what she does for. This is her love, her passion. She's very passionate about the game. I think for Angel, it's just more like once you get, you were able to put yourself in that position in college basketball. Don't come out the gate with that attitude in the WNBA if you haven't proved yourself for that too. And that goes for all the women. I mean, whether you were at the highest of the high in college, you got to make sure that you can still be at that same pedestal when it comes to league, because you can't be carrying on that same kind of attitude if you only putting up a couple points a game.
Right. And I think it's very tough now that transition from college to pro when it comes to WNBA, because I don't know if you agree with this, but years ago, it was kind of easier for those top college players to come in and kind of do the same thing that they were doing in college and put up those same type of numbers. But nowadays, it's getting tougher. The women are getting much better, much more skilled. The fundamentals were already there, but it's just taking on a whole nother level now, a whole nother phase. So yeah, definitely. That's definitely something that she's going to have to manage.
For sure. I mean, we heard Kelsey Plum speak on her experience. Like, she was the number one point and getter for all of the NCAA women's basketball at one point, went to the Stars and was struggling. She wasn't sure. But I think when she even admitted, part of her thing was that it was mental health too. Like, she wasn't sure where, what her part was. She wasn't sure how to make that transition. And so she also has that Kelsey Plum dog class now that is sponsored through her, I think it's Under Armour that she's with. And so they help kind of get some of these, that she helps with. There's our point guards that are coming either into the league or still in their last year or two of college to kind of not only work on the game, but also the mental part of it, getting your finances together, being prepared to be able to do this all on your own, because you're not going to have the school to support you, and maybe you don't have family, who knows. But I think it's important for for those young ladies that are coming, they got to realize that it's a lot more than just the game. So practicing as much as you practice, the traveling, of course, we know the WNBA is notorious for their travel issues. So how that affects them, being able to get into a new city and work in a new city when you're not used to that. It's going to be challenges and there'll be ups and downs, but I'm sure if you're hard-headed and can work through it, you'll get through it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So shout out to Angel Reese, shout out to Camila Cardoso. Pretty sure they're gonna do great in Chicago with the Sky. But let's go ahead and move on to the LA Sparks. The LA Sparks, they had 2 first-round picks. They picked Cameron Brink and they picked Rickea Jackson. Those picks were kind of expected by most. Both of them fantastic players. I did not know Cameron Brink was Steph Curry's
I think we all learned that on draft night. I feel like that there, it's one thing, shout out to the WNBA, because there were things we learned last night watching that I sat there and I was like, wait, she's Steph. And then you saw their mom sitting right there with them at the table. So I'm like, okay, Sonia, get it. Like, it was good. It was nice. You heard the story about Cameron's mom working for Nike, helping design Dawn's shoe. Like, come on.
Man, you just never know.
No.
But let's just talk. Same thing what we did last time with Chicago Sky with their 2 picks. Let's talk about these 2 picks with the Sparks. Now, the Sparks for years just been, they've been at the basement. And it's terrible because, this was a once great franchise that housed Lisa Leslie, that housed Candace Parker, won championships. Mm-hmm. And all their players are gone. Like all the players we've been seeing like last 5 years are gone. Like Ogwumike is with the Storm now.
Yeah,
And
NECA.
Canada with the Dream. Like,
yeah.
oh, man. I still
it's
disagree.
wild. We're still thankful for Chelsea Gray too, by the way. Like we're glad we got her.
yeah. Oh yeah. Point God.
Yes.
Chelsea.
Yes.
And then I still disagree with the move of them letting go of Ted Cooper, but that's neither here nor there. With Brink and Jackson now leading a new era for the Sparks, how you think this is going to go? Do you think they can rebuild their once great dynasty with these two players?
Well, first and foremost, let me just give major props to Rickea Jackson because that woman put on 2 different outfits. She had a wardrobe change mid-draft and it blew Twitter up. I was impressed. I think everybody was impressed because that has never happened. Number one, you see draft pictures of old and we're looking at like, I think Sydney Colson somebody had posted her draft pick and she was like, it looks like the student council meeting. Like their wardrobe was just, they had to be business casual. Now it's wear what you want, what makes you feel good, make it flashy, make it dressy. So big props to her. So yeah, her and obviously Karen Brink, they're going to be great for LA. LA doesn't, I mean, they got Kia Nurse and they got Talbot, I think from Seattle too. So they already had Claridon, and I think Hamby will play this season. I believe she's still there. But like you mentioned for Fever, the West is tough. Like I think Seattle's going to be a lot better. Vegas is still a major contender. Mercury. I don't see LA getting into the playoff picture for a while here.
Oh, for a long while. Like you said, those 3 teams.
Their best option right now is to really just not win that much because there's some great talent coming in next year too that could help them.
You think they should shoot for Paige Beckers next year?
Paige will be. I feel like they really need it. They've already got the forward, or center if it's a small ball. They've already got that covered. It seems like right now, if they could get like an absolute beast at point guard and guard, like. Yeah. There's just no marquee names on the Sparks. The Sparks don't have that marquee name that's like here. So, coming with Brink and Jackson, that's amazing. The rookies are going to help engage that and bring that up and bring the fan base hopefully back up. But it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be this year. It might not even be next year. I don't know.
Yeah. No knock on these two. I think these two going to be good. People have been saying Rickea Jackson is a fantastic scorer. You got Cameron Brink, who's beast down low.
She's a blocker too. She can block them. She can shoot them. She can drill them. Like Brink is great too. So yeah, I'm not saying denying any of the talent. It's just more like what they're going against, especially in the West, is just a tough look.
Not even in the West within their own team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but by record, was they was the second worst team in the NBA, right? WNBA last year.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the Dream were. I know the Dream were down there too, but I can't think they actually. Honestly, I don't know. They were in the playoffs. So.
I think they're just going to, they won in. They definitely won in it. I just think they're going to be, by record, the worst WNBA team next year. And that's not knock on talent. There's not knock on talent. They're just reality teams that gotten better. I think the Fever have gotten much better. I will pick them over the Spark. I just think it's, like you said, it's going to take them maybe a couple draft cycles and development and consistency to get them together and get them back to being great.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. Like, it's definitely not going to happen overnight. I think it's going to be like another few years before we see the Sparks.
But definitely excited to watch them play. And I'm sure, I'm excited, period, just to, even when the draft was happening, they were mentioning some of the players that have moved teams. I had to remind myself, like, oh yeah, they're not there anymore. They're over here. And like thinking about Skylar being with Seattle and just having to think about all those things. I was like, okay. it's going to be interesting. Like the year, it's going to take a couple, it's just like any other play or any other league. When the season starts, you're kind of figuring out where those pieces were and where they're at now, and trying to figure out, whether new coaches happen or whatever the case may be, how that's all going to factor in.
Yeah, I just think the losses were too great. Like the pieces that they lost over the last couple of years, especially during this year's free agency, it's just too great to overcome.
It was great, and it was also like so fast. The Sparks, they were decent even up until Candace left, and then Candace leaves, and it's like nothing. They didn't do nothing really to improve it. They didn't do nothing to change it. They just left it alone, and then pieces just start flying off, and it's like, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Fortunately, Sparks. Apologies, y'all not gonna be that good for the next few years. But hey, it's gonna be exciting basketball. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna figure it out. But let's
and they're in LA. So I mean, you think about just Jackson and her fashion that she showed for the draft. She's gonna have probably some good deals that come through LA. I mean, listen, Cameron Brink almost looks like a dead giveaway from Cameron Diaz. So she could easily be in acting. She could have some off-season acting gigs. Like, these women are going to flourish in LA. I just think that the team's going to need a little bit extra help.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to need some extra help. All right, let's start rapid fire segment. I posted 3 questions. We're going to get through them real quickly. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's start. Which draft pick, besides the ones that we talked about, or if you want to, paint a bigger picture with them, which draft pick do you have your eyes on, not only this coming season, but for a few years to come?
Well, I can speak on for this season right now, the Aces, just because our roster is fairly set. I mean, there's a couple spots that are in movement and motion, but to get Daisha Fair, I think is insane. I think a lot of us were shocked that there wasn't like a post, picked out or a center picked off the bat, but the way that Becky went out the draft and getting her and Kate Martin, listen, Becky loves a shooter, and these two girls, these two young ladies are shooters. And, we missed on a great woman that got into some trouble out here in Las Vegas. I won't even mention her name. So she was off our roster last year. And I feel like Daisha Fair is kind of like one of those people that's just, ready to go at it, get the ball, and do whatever it takes. I'm also excited for Elizabeth Kitley because she's not playing this year, but you're coming to a team that has their own practice facility, medical squad. I mean, this is the best place for you to get healthy, to be playing under like Asia Wilson and the rest of the Aces. Like, I think this is going to be I can't wait to see what she can do next year. Because if this is Candace's last year, we need a big girl, and Elizabeth Kitley can be that one for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we definitely gonna talk about the Aces in a minute. The draft pick that I got my eyes on is Aaliyah Edwards going to the Washington Mystics. I think right away she's gonna have to be impactful, given that they lost Natasha Cloud to the Mercury, and I believe Elena Delle Donne would not play this upcoming season. So right away she's gonna be maybe the number 1 option on that team, and I will pick her for possibly rookie of the year going in. I know we still got Caitlin. No, we still got Caitlin Clark. Sure. Definitely gonna be number 1 on everybody's board. But if I had to pick number 2 or somebody to supplant that, I'm going with Aaliyah Edwards.
There's one other person I wanted to highlight for who I have my eye on. This might not just be for this season, but in just the terms of her play in the league, would be Nika Moole for Seattle. Because
I was gonna write her name down too. Yeah,
like, I'm sorry, you got the UConn number 10, the old UConn number 10, Seattle. Like, is it Sue Bird 2.0? Like, she broke Sue Bird's records at UConn. Will she be able to do that same and become the next like franchise player for the Storm? We don't know. And to put her up with Jewel Lloyd, Skylar, I mean, like, she's going to be in a great guard group and going to be able to learn so much from them as well. So I'm excited to see what her game looks like after, not just this year, but in the future.
Definitely. Question number 2. Yeah. Who won the WNBA draft? Who was the winner?
The WNBA.
That was going to be my answer too. No lie, no cap. That was gonna be my answer.
Seriously. Like, we just saw the numbers now. They said the average viewership was 2.4 million, which beat out last year, which was a 570,000. Not to mention last year's 570 was 40% increase from 2022. So you can see how terrible it's been. They said that the highest record for the viewership on average was 600, and that was in 2001 when Taurasi was the number one pick.
Oh.
So the WNBA won. They got the viewers, they got Angel and Caitlin's followers, everybody else that's been hyped up over Women's March Madness has all been able to see that. There was people on my timeline on social media that this was their first time watching a women's basketball draft, the women's WNBA draft. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I mean, I know it took me a few years to get into it, but this is it was their first time watching the draft. Now it's just like, I was more hyped over yesterday's draft than I am about today's playing games. That's it. That's all.
Oh, man. Hey, I don't need to add any more to that. That was going to be my answer to WNBA definitely won the WNBA draft. Good job. Good job for the league. Yeah, good job. All right, question number 3. Let's go ahead. Go back to Caitlin Clark. You think she's a lock? Keyword lock for Rookie of the Year.
I think it'd be hers to lose.
Really?
I mean, again, I'm not saying that there aren't other great rookies out there. I just feel like with the fan base, everything else, like, here's the deal. WNBA knows what they're doing. They're selling whatever they can to support and bring hype to this thing. So if you can put her on TV, whether they're 0-16 or 2-20, they're going to do it because viewers are going to watch. I mean, it's just unfortunately what it is now. And you've got their average ticket sales for the Fever, like in the 150s. Like, that's for an average ticket. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to fix it so that she is the rookie there. I'm just saying that it's really going to be hers to lose because it would probably do the league and it might do more to the league if she is it and they promote that even more into it.
So you think she's going to win it like based off?
Well, I think based off her talents, I really do think that her and Leah Boston are going to have a connection. Like, I think they've already gotten together before. I'm sure they've already had some sessions together. Like, I feel like that connection right there is going to be wild. Now, how it works with the rest of the team, what other teams do to stop Caitlin Clark. We saw her get slowed down in the March Madness in that last game not the Gamecock game, but the one before that. We saw her get, slowed down a lot as far as getting defended pretty good. So how will the rest of the NBA or WNBA be able to face Caitlin? What are they going to do against her? But will Caitlin change her game up some? Will she be growing as she can, just like all the rest of these young ladies? I feel like it could be her. I wouldn't, but listen, it could. I just love Cardosa. I just love a big 6'7". That woman is pulling down boards and shots, everything. Like, it could be a number of factors. But yeah, I think it'd be Caitlin Suze. I mean, here's the deal. We saw how Sabrina came in the league and she got injured right away, and then we didn't see her. So yeah, pending, knock on all woods, like pending any injuries for any of the women, like we don't know exactly, but the league, we saw a lot of injuries last year. I don't know. I played the WNBA draft and I had people that were on my bed. They were picking up 10-day contracts left and right towards the end of that season. So it was crazy. It just, we'll see how the season unfolds. But I would, in my opinion, I would say that it would be hers to lose.
Yeah, I think that she's not going to have the best numbers out the rookie class, but if it's like somewhat decent, I think as far as a business move and the market and everything, she's going to win it. I don't think she's going to win it off talent. I think I would give more of a shot to Cardosa and Rickea Jackson.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you also got to think that it's Olympics this summer too. She may possibly be on the Olympic team. So it's going to be it's kind of like that old like 92 dream team, like, Leitner and Shaq. Like, why did Leitner go and Shaq didn't, and then come to find out as we get into the league, like, Shaq's a more dominant player and Leitner shouldn't have been in there maybe. So who knows how that transpires. But, for right now, I got to put my eggs into majority of her basket on getting that Rookie of the Year award.
All right. All right. That was the rapid fire session. Now, let's wrap up this episode. Of course, we got to talk about our aces. Like you mentioned, they got three draft picks, but Farrah and Kitley.
Well, they got 4, and they got I'm
sorry, 4.
Yeah. Yeah, they also, their last pick was Angel Jackson, who's only the second HBCU pick out of all the WNBA draft. Yes.
Nice.
Jackson State, yes.
Nice. But those two players, because Farrah averaged 22 points, at Syracuse, and then Kitley at Virginia Tech averaged, around 18. Do you think they got the steals of the draft when it comes to those two players?
I feel for where they got them, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, we had 3 draft picks in the second round. I mean, not to say that we needed a lot, but yeah, it'd be nice to have like another big, we have Kia Stokes, Candace, of course, but Candace injury prone. Kia isn't so much of a scorer as she is a rebounder and defender. So it'd be nice to have some youthful legs in there too. Our guard position, at first take it, we were all looking around kind of like, wait, what's going on? Like, we got Kelsey, we got Chelsea, we got we got Jackie. Sydney's still there. She's like our moral supporter, but she signed another deal, so she's still with the Aces. So there's not a whole lot of spots that are available as you get down the roster. So it's hoping that these young ladies make an impact, and hopefully we get to see a couple of them stick around. If not, we may see them transfer over to other teams maybe that have that need. It's unfortunate that we only got 12 spots on 12 teams for a huge rookie class like this, along with so many other things that were happening. But yeah.
And also I see they got Bria Bill. I think they signed her.
Training camp, yeah.
Yeah. So, they're gonna have competition. Bonus question, do you think they'll be able to stay with the team? Like you said, it's not many roster spots, only 12. Do you think they'll be able to stay? Like, do you think they'll be able to make it through camp?
I think it depends on what most of our need. I mean, it's going to be how they perform. I think Becky's open to any of them being on the team. I think it's more so what the vibe is, how the flow with the rest of the team goes. It's nice that the center, Kitley, she'll be able to stay with us just because she's injured. She's not going to play. So her spot really isn't taken. They'll be able to keep her on and have somebody else replace her on the bench. It's just tough because I know, I don't know. I would love to see them all be there because we could definitely use like those threes. I mean, those are key. I mean, just like you see in the NBA, threes are big in the WNBA, and it's now kind of switching into more of a long shooter's game, and that's what we kind of need. We need more of those. But we have a solid core. I mean, no one's going to take over Jackie, Kelsey, or Chelsea's spot. Like, that's it. And we're used to playing like a 3-guard kind of position and playing small ball. We won the championship with small ball. So.
Yeah. I think it's crazy that it's Daisha Fair, right? I want to make sure I pronounce her name right.
Daisha Fair.
Okay. She averaged 22 points in college, but she got knocked down all the way in second round towards the bottom. And then I was reading up on her. I don't know if it's a fact, but it was like her height. She only 5'5", so that knocked down her draft stock. So you got that going on. Like you said, it's gonna be tough for them to make the main roster, and it's gonna be a damn shame too because it's only 12 teams in the WNBA. Now I know they've been talking about expansion, and they need to expand the WNBA. They need some more teams. I'm going for 4 more teams, and one of them better be bringing the Houston Comet back. Bring back Thomas, please.
Well, so the commissioner addressed it before the draft yesterday. She mentioned that she foresees 16 teams by the end of 2020 or by 2028. So we know we got the San Francisco team happening next season, and then there most likely will be 3 more. They already talked today about that being like Philly, Portland, South Florida, Toronto, Denver, and Nashville. I don't know if there's more on that list or less, but just bring more teams. And on a side note, I looked up the Aces. They got like 6 to 7 players extra over 12 right now. I forgot to even mention, we still got Alicia Clark that's on the team. Yeah. Megan Gustafson, who we signed at the beginning of the trade, that she used to play at Iowa as well. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I can't even.
I just don't know. I think Kelly is going to stay somehow. I can see her staying. I think she's.
Well, I mean, because she's injured, so she's not gonna. She won't play anyway, so they'll be able to keep her on.
Yeah. But and even if she wasn't injured and she was just battling for a spot, I think she will win a spot because I think, like you said,
I believe,
her position is much more needed. The depth at the center position, having the big woman there. But for Farrah, I think it's just going to be a damn shame that, she's like on board, like borderline getting cut. And then once she get cut, like where's she going to go? How she's going to continue her career in the WNBA? I don't know.
Listen, and this is the hard part for a lot of these young ladies. I mean, you think about how many leave the league every year or leave college every year and want to get drafted. They end up playing overseas. I'm sure we'll see a ton of these in the AU. Maybe they'll add some more teams to the Athletes Unlimited. That's a good place where they go. I mentioned earlier, and this is just my thoughts, not only did Ice Cube offer Caitlin $5 million to play in the Big Three, but Dave Portnoy, Barstool's offered her $10 million to play in their rec league. Why don't both of those two put up $10-15 million and you can start a new league of a women's basketball in the fall or in the winter that's in the States? Have another AU that's maybe in between the AU and the WNBA training camp, or another 6-week program. Like you're gonna put up this much money for one person, put it up for all the women that are out there balling hard and have nowhere to go.
Yeah, definitely. And I wish I was rich. I would have some money. I'll be pushing for the Houston Common to come back right now. I saw a tweet with Travis Scott saying something about Houston Common. I was like, man, sign me up. I just think, I know we supposed to be talking about the Aces, but I just think it's a damn shame. The team that won the first 4 championships in the WNBA's exception is no longer there.
I mean, I believe it. I want my Sonics back too, but
Oh, definitely. I've been pushing for that for years too.
I mean, I think Houston can probably get one. I think it's also, maybe it's a matter of where. I mean, you think about, where would they play? Where's their facilities? The thing is that we're coming to a time now where you've got the Phoenix Mercury and Seattle Storm about to both open up practice facilities for their WNBA team. So we're leaning towards these teams being able to be put in places where they've got their own facilities. They have management ownership that are able to, foot the bill for some of these places. Because it's sad that a lot of these people still don't even have their own lockers to keep their stuff in and their own place to call home with their own trainers and stuff like that. So
yeah, we got a long way to go. But
they'll do, yeah.
Yeah. But back to the Aces, with these prospects that they drafted, and then of course the team's 2-time defending champs still got all their key players. Candace Parker could be in addition, coming back from injury. Do you see a three-peat?
Absolutely.
It
would be ours to lose again, depending on injuries, or I don't see us having a problem getting back to the championship. Yes, Liberty are going to be a problem. Yes, I think having, depending on what our roster's looking like, going against the Sky, the young team, the big centers, I think that's going to be tough. I mean, but all in all, when it comes down to it, you're looking at 4 gold medalists, 2-time champions. 3-time MVPs, how many All-Star nods? Like, and that's why everybody in the league guns for us, because it's just.
Yeah. But I'm kind of being maybe a little bit pessimistic here as a fan. I think it's gonna be tough to three-peat. I think there's enough parity. There's enough teams to get them. If there was a rematch between the Liberty and the Aces, the fan in me will, go Aces. You know what I'm saying? But raise the stakes. But but the analysts with me will pick the Liberty to win that matchup, especially if Jonquel Jones get it together.
Well, I'm saying like the Liberty got the same squad just like we do. And I don't foresee that being. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I wouldn't say that they have an easy shot, a road to getting the third championship. Everybody's been gunning. They don't want them to have that third championship. They don't want them to have any championships. New York obviously has a great team. They also picked up another guard in the draft. I forgot her name. I think it was like Ole Miss or something, but that, they needed another guard. They needed somebody else that was with stability out there with Sabrina to gather that team up. And I feel like they're not far from it. They want it just about as we do. And I think even like Phoenix, like with the moves they made in the offseason and having Brittany Griner, you can't stop her either when she's out. It's not happening. So I'm not saying it's easy. I just feel like you saw how we won last year and we were down to 6 players total. We had no bench. We had no, maybe 1 or 2 like we had nothing and we won a championship being down. Like, imagine if everybody's healthy.
Yeah. But, also, I do take in part first of all, it's hard to win a championship. It's even harder to repeat. And it's even damn sure harder to go for 3 in a row. That's why you rarely see it nowadays. I just think, with the mileage on their bodies, with them going for and coming up short for years before they won the last 2. And then you got teams with like the Mercury, like the Storm, like the Liberty, who although they got veteran players, they just got new energy and then new excitement when all the additions coming in. And everybody forming super teams, quote unquote. Now, I just think it's going to be much harder to win a championship this time around. And also the regular season, last 2 years have been dominant. But I kind of see that dominance kind of taking a little bit of dip this year, which is so much going on. Because going to the Storm always been like a tough team to beat. Even though, by record, they were, up and down. But
until Stewie and Sue retired. But
but they still, they still got grit. They were a very gritty team.
They got Jewel Lloyd. I mean,
Gold Mamba.
But what did that do last season? I'm just saying is that you talk about the wear and tear on the Aces. Realize none of these women had to go overseas this year. Every year, most of these girls have played overseas, and not only but a couple on the bench went overseas to play. So they've been rested. They've been in the gym working out. They've been, on book tours or whatever else. But
I didn't mean the overseas part, but I was saying like before the 2 championships, they, had great regular seasons. They went deep in the playoffs, but, unfortunately they came up short. Right. So, those years added up, plus the 2 they just won championships in, like, sometimes that adds up a bit. Sometimes.
I respect your opinion. And
I'm just being my analyst side.
No, I get it. I get it. Like I can respect that. I'm not saying it's easy, but I don't foresee there's only a couple of teams out there that will make a difference. That will, you know what I mean? And it also depends on the playoff structure. So when you're playing if they don't get that first round, if they don't get the first pick and they have to play in that first round, that could be difficult because one game you're out in that first round. So depending on how that goes, but if they get that first place in the West and they get the bye and they can go into it having home court, I don't see anything changing. Our home court.
No, definitely. I still think that they are the favorites going into the season, but I don't think they're the overwhelmingly favorites. I think the gap has shrunk a little bit.
Absolutely, because the teams are more spread out too. Like you've got more. It's not just New York and the Aces. Like you said, you still got Phoenix in there. Now you've got a Sky. I'm not saying the Fever championship quality yet, but we don't know what may turn up and how they, maybe there's some boost of craziness, and you still got Seattle. I mean, we forget about the not the Mystics, but the Wings, the Lynx. It's getting better. That's why they need to have more teams.
definitely need to have more teams. # Houston Comets comeback. Comets comeback. Let's get it going. But that was the end of the W season premiere episode, exclusive on YouTube, presented by Stacey on Sports. Once again, I am Stacey Carter II. I was joined by the Mel Ferris. Mel, where can we find you and your work?
Yes, you can find me, and shout out to my girl Mo who couldn't make it today. You can find me and Mo every Wednesday-ish at 7 p.m. live. You can find us on YouTube at Girl Chat Sports. You can find us on all social media at Girl Chat Sports, Instagram, Twitter, et cetera. Come shout out, come kick it with us and enjoy it. Come subscribe. Subscribing is free, right? So do us all a favor.
For sure. Thank you very much. And we'll see y'all next time. We're gearing up for the WNBA season 2024.